Today's post update 13, and you can see that both of the drains are actually starting to change colors. Neither of them are red anymore, and it's more of a yellowish orange fluid, which is a really good sign because that means that there's essentially no more blood that is dripping. When it comes to drains, it's important to know that even when it's really red, it's actually not that much blood. Because as we all know, it only takes a little bit of blood to make it look like it's a whole lot of it. So it definitely looks like we're actually finally on track to get these out. And funny enough, the one on the right seems to be draining less than the one on the left, even though the one on the left is the one I'm supposed to be taking out first. So I think it's just a matter of time at this point until we take it out. Tomorrow we have a call with Dr. Law or someone from his team where we're going to get a little bit more information as to what's going to happen next. But today we're going to talk about exactly probably what you thought we were going to talk about. Because yesterday got a little crazy.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Before we do that, I just weighed myself. This is how much I weighed. Meaning we were down a total of 15.8 pounds of the 22 pounds of water weight that we gained in only 13 days, which is actually really good. I was honestly expecting it to last for a bit longer, but to be honest, I don't expect my weight to be fluctuating a lot now because of just the water weight's going to be sticking around until I heal. That's just the reality of it. And I know that when the drains come out, then a lot of the inflammation is just going to start slowly going away. I'm going to go for more lymphatic massages and it's just going to slowly dissipate. But the topic of what I wanted to talk about today is actually very interesting because of the type of comments that were left on the video yesterday. And so when it comes to conflict on the internet, and I think that that's a pretty hot topic, especially considering what happened in the States recently. But when it comes to conflict, there's a few ways that people will generally choose to handle it. One is by kicking and screaming and coming into a conversation with a pre-installed rhetoric that they will just never even let themselves shift from. And I think that that is the most toxic way to approach any conflict. And then on the other side of that, I think that a much more healthy way to approach conflict is to come into a conversation willing to actually learn to understand what the other side thinks, how they perceive the situation, because in any given situation, there will always be three sides to the truth. There is your truth, my truth, and the truth, right? And I think that for both parties to be able to communicate, for people to be able to have discourse, communication, agreements, is the most important thing that can occur. So I gotta make breakfast, let's head over there. I think that the biggest issue that we are facing currently as a society is that we are not able to communicate with each other without getting emotional. And when we get emotional, all logic sort of gets thrown out the window. I'm not going to try to act like a saint and say that I've never had a conversation where the topic was very personal to me and that I've never let my emotions control how I responded. There we go. But the main issue lies in when somebody is completely unable to have the discourse and to just have a normal conversation without getting angry with a person from a different standpoint. So yesterday at 1:30 in the morning, I am in bed and I started getting these messages from someone that lives on the other side of the world in Germany, where he is expressing his viewpoints on the matter and that we generally just didn't agree on, I guess, how things turned out. And the conversation started getting pretty heated because neither of us were seeing each other's points and we just weren't necessarily making progress in the conversation. And then he calls me. It's 1:40 in the morning at this point. I'm in bed. But you know what? I was excited because how often is it that we actually get to have these conversations with someone face to face? So we got on a phone call and we had a really good conversation. Devere, thank you, by the way. This is a screenshot of the call we had yesterday. Honestly, brilliant man. If you want to go follow his fitness journey, he is also in the process of losing a bunch of weight. And after the conversation we had, I think he deserves a lot more followers. And so we ended up talking, I want to say, for almost it was almost half an hour. And I think it was amazing to see how we were able to shift each other's perspectives a little bit by just taking the time to understand each other. And that's something that just doesn't happen enough nowadays. And so that just goes to show that I think that although we call this social media, we are completely forgetting the social part of that equation. And that whenever we actually take the time and try to elaborate how we feel, how we think about subjects, that's the only time we actually make progress in communication. And so yes, we all have our opinions, and some people might think some things and I might think another. Oh. But if we don't even try to communicate our differences in opinions when faced with a opposing viewpoint, then there's no point in having any conversation at all. And so for those who are asking, I've been talking with him all day. We're gonna have a little bit of an interview, chat about stuff so that he can explain his viewpoint on things. And we're just gonna go from there. And so going forward, I think on Mondays, I'm actually either going to not post or just post a very short video update or something like that, just so that at least Taylor can have one day uninterrupted by my shenanigans with my camera in the apartment. Oh, that consistency is perfect. And so that's really it for today. I think I've been doing a little bit too much in terms of walking and activities and such, just because that my little forbidden juice boxes were filling up a little too much. And the second time I had a day like yesterday where I just sat down and did absolutely nothing, recovery sped up a whole lot. So I think that for the next probably 2-3 days, I'm going to be doing very little in terms of lifting and or even living. And that should be enough to get one of these tubes out. So with that, I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, let's change the world together.